Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channels. Now I will discuss the Erickson Psychosocial stage 4. Regarding this topic, let's discuss one by one. First of all, we will discuss young adulthood. Then intimacy versus isolation, just around 20 to 34 years. Body and ego must be master of organs modes and of the others Nicholas conflict in order to face the fear of ego loss in situation called for self-abandonment. Avoiding these experiences lead to offendedness and self-exaggeration. The intimacy versus isolation conflict is emphasized around the age of 20 to 34. At the start of this stage, identity versus rule confusion is going to come an end, and it still lingers at the foundations of the stage erection. Young adults are still eager to blend their identities with friends. They want to fit in. Erection believes we are sometimes isolated due to intimacy. We are afraid of rejection such as being turned down by our partners or our partners breaking up with us. We are familiar with pains, and some of us rejection is painful. Our ego cannot bear the pain. Erickson also argued that intimacy has a counterpart: distanciation, the readiness to isolate and if necessary to destroy these forces and people whose essence seem dangerous to our own and whose territory seems to encroach on the extent of some one intimate relation. Once people have established their identities, they are ready to make long-run commitment to others. They become capable of forming intimate reciprocal relationships. For example, through close friendship or marriage, and willingly make the sacrifices and compromises that such relationships require. If people cannot form this intimate relationship, perhaps because of their own needs, a sense of isolation may result. Here, Erickson called a maladaptive form promiscuity, referring particularly to the tendency to become intimate too freely, too easily, and without any depth of one's intimacy. This can be true of the personal relationship with friends and neighbors, and the whole community as well as with opposite person. Erections call this malignancy as exclusion, which refer to a tendency to isolate oneself from love, friendship, and community, and develop a certain hatefulness in compensations for one's loneliness or significant relationship or with marital partners and friends. And next one is we'll discuss middle adulthood. Erickson 1980 saw middle adults age as a period when adults have to face a conflict between generativity and stagnation. Generativity means the process of making a contribution to the next generation. It can realize in a variety of ways through personal, family, or career attainment that provide a basis for others to progress. For example, a business person in midlife might find satisfaction in the professional achievement to that and may like to pass on a skill to young colleagues. Another person might find a sense of generativity through having reared children that the person is proud of and who the children are now entering the adult world well equipped to meet challenges. A link between the generation maintains Erickson is as indispensable for the renewal of the adult generation own life as it is for the next generation. Stagnation is the opposing feeling of having achieved relatively little and of having little to offer to the next generation. Some people in midlife, for example, conclude that they have not met a family or occupational goals and that once motivate them. Some respond to this sense of standing still with a fear of self-observations and an acute awareness that time is limited. Individuals are likely to experience both types of feelings, that is, generativity and stagnation in the core developmental process of midlife. According to Erickson's developmental defense on the resolution of this conflict, if we resolve it successfully, we attain a sense of care about both the presence and the failure. But if we do not get through this stage successfully, we can become self-absorbed and stagnant. The maladaptive tendency called by Erickson as overextensions illustrates the problem. Some people try to be so generative that no longer allow time for themselves, for rest and relaxation. The person who is overextended no longer contributes well. More obvious, of course, it is the malignant tendency of reactivity. Too little generativity and too much stagnation, and the person is no longer participating in or contribution to society. And much of what we call the meaning of life is a matter of how we participate and how we contribute. Significant relationships are within the workplace, the community, and the family. The next one is central tasks of middle adulthood according to Erickson include the following. First one, express love through more than sexual contacts. The next one is maintain healthy life patterns. Develop a sense of unity with mate. Help growing and grown children to responsible adults. Relinquish central role in life of grown children. Accept children mates and friends. Create a comfortable home. Be proud of accomplishment of self and mate spouse. Reverse rule with aging parents. Achieve mature civics and social responsibility. Adjust the physical changes of middle age. Use leisure time, creativity, love for others. Recent research has supported Erickson claims that gender activity is positively associated with subjective well-being in middle-aged people, while a fair occupation with aging is negatively associated with well-being. In the last one, we will discuss late adulthood or old age. What is the problem? What is the condition that during the time of old age? Let's discuss Erickson felt that much of life is preparing for the middle adulthood stage and the last stage is recovering from it. Perhaps that is because as older adults we can often look back on our lives with happiness and contents, feeling fulfilled with a deep sense that life has meaning and we have made a contribution to life. A feeling which Erickson called integrity. Our strength comes from wisdom that the world is very large and we now have a detached concern for the world of life, accepting that the completion of life. On the other hand, some adults may reach this stage and despair at their experiences and perceive failures. These they may fear that as they struggle to find a purpose to their lives, wondering what's the trip worth it. Alternatively, they may feel that they have all the answers, not unlike going to adolescence and end with a strong documentation and only the view which has been correct. Okay, thank you.